It's Hugo and Jake, they're coming to take a look at the Qur'an. So make no mistake, it's gonna be great, delivering more than comedy, that's what they wanna be. But honestly, it's fact from fiction, leaving lasting hits. When Hugo and Jake take faith and illustrate contradictions, create apostates to be great. Atheists make people who believe see the world in a different way. What's on the episode today? Take it away, Hugo and Jake. Loving the way they're splitting the fact from the fake, attempting to make those who hold faith reevaluate and wake up. But they just stay stuck and hate us. Wait and stay in place, no time to waste. The Qur'an reload with Hugo and Jake.
Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is the Qur'an Reloaded, and we're back
You're
to read more.
goddamn right.
And we're back to read more of the Quran. It's been a while. We did
High energy.
Yeah, you're very high energy
Bring it
today.
in.
What is going on with you? You need to
Let's
chill
huddle up.
out. I don't.
Butt slaps and high fives.
Okay, I told you the trucker speed is for weekends, not Thursdays.
I snorted all the meth.
Okay, anyway, so yeah, we're back to do more of the Quran. It's been a while because we did a reaction video and then we did that dank Muslim memes video, which you can check out right here. Guarantee, guarantee at least 2 rare Pepes for you. And today we're continuing in the 3rd surah, the family of Imran. As I said in the previous episodes, Imran is Mary, Jesus' mother's father. So it's sort of about how Mary came to be, and then it sort of extrapolates to Jesus, and they talk a little bit about John the Baptist, actually. So we'll talk about that today. Are you excited? Some biblical crossover?
I'm pretty sure it's going to get sexy.
Yeah.
If it's about baby making.
Yeah.
Nothing sexier than making babies.
Especially when it's ethereal, because then you don't have to touch those icky vaginas, right, guys?
I prefer dry orifices.
Anyway.
Like an ear hole. Just imagine if a vagina was just like an ear hole.
Oh,
just
God.
sort of waxy and dry. Anyways, that's why they had to do the Ethereal Baby.
It's like a head cloaca. Anyway, 3rd surah, verse 35. The wife of Imran said, "My lord, I have vowed to you what is in my womb, dedicated, so accept from me, you are hearer and knower." We talked about this in our Bible study over at the Bible Reloaded, but if you don't know at this time, or at least in religious texts, it's fairly common for people to pledge their firstborn offspring to God, whether it be through service or they go into the priesthood. This happened with a couple biblical figures, and also it's explicitly stated in the Bible early on that God rules that the firstborn of your children should be given to him, and the firstborn of, like, your animals should be sacrificed to him.
Yeah, this is more of a Samuel thing. But I will say, they tell you, like, wait 3 months until you know that you've taken the pregnancy to tell people.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of kid's popping out of your womb. What if you promise me your kid and it turns out to be a retard? I don't want that. They can't do math problems, but they do have the strength of 10 men.
That explains a lot of the Quran, actually.
You guys are racist! You don't know what racist means.
And when she delivered her, she said, "My lord, I have delivered a female." God was shocked. He was not privy to any of this. He knows everything except for things in your pants. That's why pants are important. Shields your junk from God.
To hide your thoughts from God, we should get head pants.
Hats. They're called hats.
I love this next line.
And God was well aware of what she had delivered. Yeah, I know. I made her vagina. I sculpted it tirelessly. Remember the video for Lionel Richie's Hello when the blind lady's sculpting Lionel Richie's head? I did that for days, but with your daughter's infant twat. And the male is not like the female, and I have named her Mary, and have commanded her and her descendants to your protection from Satan the outcast.
Yeah, okay. We know that males are not like the female. You don't have to say that. Like, no one is confused about dicks and vaginas.
We talked
Not even
about
kids. Not even kids. Kids are like, hey, you have a penis, and I have a vagina. And that's just how it is.
It's a very mature outlook for this young child.
Yeah.
I'd like to imagine a young child saying it exactly like that. Like, ma'am, I understand I have a penis, you have a vagina and vulva, etc. But let's get on with our day, shall we? Let's not focus on our genitals.
And then he picks up a little tiny briefcase with, crayons and construction paper in it, and a little hat. It's like a business hat, but it has, like, I don't know, Captain America symbol on the front. Then he walks out the door to go to his job, which is kindergarten. Because he's a weird fucking kid with no friends.
You paint a beautiful picture. Have I ever told you that?
Yeah, I learned from the 5-year-old.
Her lord accepted her with gracious reception and brought her a beautiful upbringing. You know, this is a little creepy to me because when they're talking about the Lord accepted her with a gracious reception and brought her a beautiful upbringing, bear in mind, this is Mary, Jesus' mom, who God impregnates. When not God does this, we call this a pedophile grooming someone, but okay.
You know, this actually happened with Woody Allen. He was married to a lady, and then he started banging her daughter. Not their daughter, just her daughter. It was like a stepdaughter situation. And so that's how his life turned out.
I think this just puts Muhammad's 9-year-old wife in more perspective. He was just trying to be more like Allah. Like, hey, maybe I need my own little Mary, but I'll start at 6 years old. But don't worry, God, I'll wait till she's 9 to stick it in.
I also like that they assigned the beautifulness of her upbringing to Allah, insinuating that all garbage upbringings are also due to Allah. So, sorry, orphans, but we did get Annie out of it, so it's not a total loss.
The Lord entrusted her to the care of Zechariah. Whenever Zechariah entered upon her in the sanctuary, he found her with provision. He said, "Oh, Mary, where did you get this from?" She said, "It is from God. God provides to whom he wills without reckoning." So Mary, proven compulsive liar, clearly when she was a kid. Stealing food. Oh, who brought this to you? God. And then later in life when she got knocked up by some dude she was fucking on the side. Mary, how'd you get pregnant? God. And thus, Abrahamic religions beyond Judaism were born. But really, Zechariah, by the way, is John the Baptist's father. So that's who they're talking about.
Wow, real small universe we got going on here. Did George Lucas write this?
Well, they're family. They're John the Baptist is like Jesus' cousin. So this would be her uncle. And really, God didn't probably put her with him. Her parents were probably like, "Hey, Zechariah, take our stupid fucking kid." She keeps stealing on my purse and saying God gave her like my lipstick. It's really weird. I can tell this bitch is going to be super trouble. She's going to cause a lot of trouble for people. Thereupon Zechariah prayed to his Lord. He said, "Lord, bestow on me good offering from your presence. You are the hearer of prayers." Then the angels called out to him, and he stood praying in the sanctuary. God gives you good news of John, confirming a word from God, an honorable and moral, and a prophet, one of the upright. It pisses me off that the angels fucking named the kid for him.
Right, well, basically this just means that Allah buckled John right into Zechariah's balls right at that moment.
Yeah.
Did he have to hold that load? What happens if he, Pornhub comes across his Twitter feed and he's like, you know what, I'm going to jack off real quick.
If you try and come with a prophet in your balls, it shoots right back in.
Oh, God.
Yeah. I hear it feels great. It's like sounding, but all natural. He said, "My lord, how will I have a son when old age has overtaken me and my wife is barren?" He said, "Even so, God does whatever he wills."
That puss ain't work, Allah.
Common theme in religious literature, especially Abrahamic ones, or at least, I guess I should say mostly Abrahamic ones. I haven't read Asian religions. I'm stupid as fuck. What do you think I'm doing in my free time? Old people getting pregnant. So,
yeah, it's kind of a motif of desertification. Like, there's always famine and nothing's growing, and they wander the desert, and also their vaginas are deserts when it comes to semen reception and stuff like that. It's super weird. It's basically saying that, hey, God brings fertility, which is actually an offshoot of how this entire religion thing started, because they live in the Fertile Crescent, and they used to think it was God's doing, so he brought fertility. Do you get it? It's pretty simple. I'm brilliant. You're welcome.
You should feel bad about everything you've ever said about yourself.
I just dropped knowledge bombs on these people.
I mean, they could have fucking Googled it.
You guys should get knowledge bunkers.
Is it too late to leave the show?
You should ask Steve about knowledge bunkers.
Oh, moving on. He said, "My lord, give me a sign." He said, "Your sign is that you shall not speak to the people for 3 days, except by gestures, and remember your lord much, and praise in the evening and the morning."
So Zechariah's like, well, can you give me a sign? And God's like, You know what? Here's your fucking sign. Now you're mute for 3 days. Learn sign language, bitch.
And that's how, in the Old Testament, they invented American Sign Language, which is actually really impressive.
Because they didn't even know America existed? I was going to say mime school.
Yeah.
Mime school was plan B here.
The angels said, "Oh, Mary, God has chosen you and has purified you. He has chosen you over all the women in the world."
What age is she at this point? I mean, granted, when she has Jesus, she's only 14, so I don't...
She's got to be like 9 or something, right?
Oh,
like,
God,
she can't
they're
be that
already
old.
giving her the talk?
Yeah. And the specific passage where they say, "Oh, Mary, God has chosen you and purified you." This is referred to as the Immaculate Conception. A lot of the times people will confuse the terms Immaculate Conception for virgin birth because they'll say Jesus was an Immaculate Conception. No, Mary was an Immaculate Conception, and what that means is that she was born without original sin. In Christianity and in Judaism to an extent, basically, Adam and Eve did a bad thing, sins of the father go to the kids, and the kids of the kids of the kids, and that's why we go to hell, because we're all stained with sin, even if we personally haven't done it. She, however, was born without original sin, so she was pure enough that she could carry the, air quotes, Christ child. That's in Christianity, of course. For some reason, they still keep the purification here in the Qur'an, even though they don't consider Jesus the Messiah, but they do consider him a prophet, and they respect him a lot. The story is showing that Jesus was brought to life by God intentionally in Mary. However, the same was true of John the Baptist, and that's why the story is in the Quran but not in the Bible, because they're saying, yeah, Jesus, God made him, but he's not really Christ. He's not the Son of God any more than John the Baptist. You see what they're doing? They're trying to say sometimes God makes prophets, and that's probably, they're also trying to say the same thing happened with Muhammad.
They're taking him down a step.
Yeah. "Oh, Mary, be devoted to your Lord and bow down and kneel with those who kneel."
Ooh.
Yeah, you kneel, Mary, get ready for your Lord. "These are accounts from the unseen which we reveal to you. You were not with them when they cast their lots as to which of them would take charge of Mary, nor were you with them as they quarreled. The angels said, 'Oh, Mary, God gives you good news of a word from him. His name is the Messiah, Jesus, son of Mary, well esteemed in the world and the next, and one of the nearest.'"
One of the nearest, meaning one of the nearest to God making him a good prophet.
"He will speak to the people from the crib and in adulthood, and he will be one of the righteous." She said, "My Lord, how can I have a child when no man has touched me?" He said, "It will be so. God creates whatever he wills to have anything done. He only says it be, and it is."
She just had like an eruption of endorphins and then a quivering orgasm.
"And he will teach him the scripture and wisdom and the Torah and the gospel. A messenger to the children of Israel. I have come to you with a sign from your Lord. I make for you out of clay the figure of a bird, then breathe into it, and it becomes a bird by God's leave. And I heal the blind and the leprous, and I revive the dead by God's leave, and I inform you concerning what you eat and what you store in your homes. And that is a sign for you, if you are believers."
This is interesting because they're basically granting everything besides the Trinity aspect or being God aspect of Jesus. They're granting all of it and saying, hey, yeah, he healed the sick and he did these things and he walked the earth and he could hear God and all that shit. And he was even created by God in a virgin birth. And on the surface, it just looks like, yeah, we're just sucking Jesus' dick a little bit. But what this really probably was, hey guys, you're not wrong about Jesus, but like this is more right. Come be a Muslim. It's a conversion. It's a conversion tactic.
I could see that. It's a little bit like when in Christianity they kind of took some of the stuff from pagan traditions and stuff.
Yeah, that was more of an assimilation with Rome, and so that's kind of Rome's fault as well. But that tactic ended up being adopted by Christians later on because it works. You just kind of you fold in. And because folding is easier than breaking.
"And verifying what lies before me of the Torah, and to make lawful for you some of what was forbidden to you. I have come to you with a sign from your Lord, so fear God and obey me." That's ethereal pre-birth baby Jesus speaking. I'd like to think Mary was like, "Oh shit, I should write this down. This is like really good stuff," and she scrawled it. Got passed down to Muhammad so he could give it to someone else to write down because he was fucking illiterate.
It's like ancient email.
"God is my Lord and your Lord, so worship him. That is the straight path. When Jesus sensed disbelief on their part, he said, 'Who are my allies towards God?' The disciples said, We are God's allies. We have believed in God and bear witness, and we submit. Our Lord, we have believed in what you have revealed, and what we followed the messenger, so count us among the witnesses. God, I feel like we're doing the fucking Bible Reloaded right now.
Yeah, it's super weird.
It doesn't even feel like the Quran.
I hope something explodes pretty soon so we can get snapped back into the Quran.
They planned and God planned, but God is the best of planners.
Okay, that's Donald Trump.
Yeah, who put this fucking in there? I'm a planner. I'm the best planner. Trust me.
I do very well with planners, believe me.
Trust me. I plan the best. My plans are the best plans. I plan them. It's not
That's
a very good.
Terrible.
It's
a good the writing aspect. If that was a text, I'd be like, yes, that's Donald Trump. But your voice is like Joe Pesci trying to do Trump.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going for. Surprise. I'm awesome.
There you are. Nailed it.
God said, "Oh Jesus, I am terminating your life and raising you to me. And I will make those who follow you superior to those who disbelieve until the day of resurrection. Then to me is your return, and I will judge between you regarding what you were disputing."
You know, that started sexy and turned into Nick Cage.
Excuse me, are you trying to tell me those two things are not identical?
Fair play.
As for those who disbelieve, I will punish them with a severe punishment in this world and the next, and they will have no helpers. That sounds a little Trumpy. That sounds a little Trumpy, too. Maybe Donald Trump is just Allah come to Earth, and he's just mad at Muslims now for some reason because they fucked up so bad. For those who disbelieve, I will punish them with a severe punishment.
You almost sound like Bernie. That's Bernie doing Trump now.
Fuck. I'm so bad at this. As for those who believe and do good works, he will give them the rewards in full. God does not love the unjust. This is what we recite to you of the verses and the wise reminder. This is what we recite to you of the verses and the wise reminder. The likeness of Jesus in God's sight is that of Adam. He created him from dust, then said to him, "Be," and he was. And, yeah. So, we actually got through quite a bit today relative for this show. That's not too bad. So that's pretty much the Jesus portion of this chapter. Next time we're going to get into more why you should obey Allah, because he's such a great crackerjack guy, if you didn't know, especially with all the punishing people and the Donald Trump comparisons. So
Donald Trump would make for a pretty good Allah, which is kind of scary, actually, with the similarities that are happening, except obviously Allah feels more positive toward a certain people than maybe Donald Trump does. That'd be Muslims.
Donald Trump also likes younger women.
Yeah.
And blowing things up. So
I'd give it to Melania too. I'm just throwing that out there.
I wouldn't. She seems. I don't like any of his kids. They're creepy.
She doesn't have to speak.
His kids feel like they grew up in the town from Children of the Corn, but then he was passing through that town and he was like, "You need to come with me to New York. I'll teach you business."
He fucking Daddy Warbucks?
You seem like smart kids. I like what you've done with it. I like what you've done with the town. You've taken it over like I did New York.
You still sound like Bernie Sanders.
God damn. See,
Dude,
I wish
is he going to take the tube off and it's going to be Bernie? And we're going to be like, "No, Bernie! How could you betray us?"
Anyway, so you can always follow us on Twitter at Bible Reloaded.
You can follow Hugo at Hugo Reloaded. You can also subscribe to the channel and get the announcements on when we do things.
You can also donate to our Patreon campaign. We do a once-a-month patron-only hangout, and that's a lot of fun. But this month, we're also doing just a normal hangout for everyone over at the Bible Reloaded. That's going to be on August 12th at 5 p.m. Eastern. TBR, live at 5. So check it out.
Catchy and accurate.
Yeah, we're going to talk, answer your questions, maybe read a shitty religious comic or something. We'll have a good time. Probably going to run an hour to an hour and a half, just depending. So
yeah, it'll be fun.
Be there or be somewhere else. I don't care.
Also, if you can't make it, it will be uploaded, but you will not be able to interact with us in real time, which is garbage, and you should feel bad if you don't show up.
So thanks, everyone. Until next time, I'm Hugo, and I promise I'm not going to try and impregnate anyone ethereally under the age of 18.
And I'm Jake, and I cannot make that promise because I don't know what my ghost sperm does.
I think it finds me in the night.
Well, that's fine. You can't get preggers. You're barren.
I keep moving. It keeps finding me.